Hi everyone, I am Jessica Mokiver and I'm here again with Jill Cheyenne from Empire Charter Consultants. As Jill is now in her 27th year of chartering, which is such a feat, we have been taking questions and reflections from her colleagues and friends across the country about her and her time in chartering. And today we have questions from Lauricella. And Jill, first, why don't you tell us how you and Regina know each other, how you have come to work together, and then we'll dive into her questions.
Oh, that's a good one. I was hired, Regina was a school leader in New Jersey. I was hired to do a strategic plan for her school. And so her board hired me. I had not met her. We had to do it all virtually. It was during COVID.
Okay.
And we set up a time because we had to meet every single week while I was in the process. And while we had to meet weekly, she had a school and she was getting a new building. So like she was busy. And my very first meeting with her, she had just adopted her second child. She was supposed to be on leave. She wasn't. She was trying to get a facility and she became very emotional when we started speaking. And right, I have a lot of empathy for people, especially right, new mom, right, second kid, her first child was still super young. And I just understood her and she was very direct. If I asked her a question and she said that I did this, right? She owned what she knew she was doing well and she owned what she knew she wasn't doing well. So the strategic plan gets done, but we still continue to have a relationship. Friends, like at some point, it turned in from me being a strategic facilitator. Once a report was done, we just became friends. So if she needed to vent at night, she could call me. I would understand. She left her school. And here's what's interesting. She left her school, and Jess, I would tell you what we went through when we left Nexon, right? Like the emotions that go behind it, but also the anger, right? There's a lot of things, or the sadness. She was feeling all the same things. So she needed to get through that. Incredibly smart, incredibly good at her job, very talented. She opened her own business in New Jersey, but then also came to be a consultant for Empire. And we are so lucky to have her. Great writer, just very smart, but also a very sharp sense of humor. I can say anything to her and she's unfazed.
I love that. Okay, Regina's first question is, who do you believe is the most influential person in the charter school movement?
In my world, it's Dr. Charlene Reed. Um, in the movement as a whole, right? Like Eva Moskowitz is the obvious answer because she can get money and she's going to replicate and her schools will be successful. Uh, you know what the world needs, or the United States needs, is a charter czar. But it's definitely not Linda McMahon, and it's definitely Trump. And uh, you can all keep your opinions to yourself. So,
I think most people can agree that it wouldn't be Linda McMahon, even if you like her.
oh, really? Didn't I send you a picture recently? Do you remember what I sent you?
Yes. Okay, so
Okay,
maybe not everyone would agree that, but we
correct.
agree.
So, in my world, it is Dr. Charlene Reed. In my universe, that's who it is. And
Excellent.
it's because she's very stealth. She is both counselor and friend to a lot of people in the charter school movement. If you didn't know her, you wouldn't know that. But just genuinely, everything. I ever wanted to know in the charter school world. And I think I've said to you that from the day I met her, and I had left SUNY. So I was at SUNY 8 years, was at the association. She just had taken over Bronx Excellence 1. She was there as principal, but took over as ED. And from the moment we met, when she speaks, she makes every conversation about the kids in her school. Yeah, staff gets mentioned, but like this is how it's going to affect kids. And she was the first person I had met in all that time that ever talked to me about kids. Like there were 50 schools in our portfolio. I'm sure everybody cared about kids, but right, they weren't really talking about it. She was the first one that I felt emotionally aligned to, morally and ethically. And I see how she influences, right, from a teacher, from a teaching assistant, from a parent, straight up to national people. And she does it quietly with so much class. So for me, the answer is going to be Dr. Charlene Reed. And I knew
Awesome.
her before she was a doctor. And then I cried my eyes out when she got her doctorate. And then I cried when her husband got his doctorate. But we're actually like friends. Like I send her inappropriate memes.
She is a force, and that's an awesome answer. Okay, Regina's second question is: you are a runner. Use running to create a metaphor to help explain anything related to charter school life.
Your ass is dragging.
Okay, pick it up.
Pick up the pace. Like, people, we're not at the finish line anymore. This is like when you see that somebody was running a marathon and like 20 hours later, the last person is limping over,
Oh,
right?
that's
Like we've all seen it. It just happened here, I think, at the Disney Marathon. So like the winner waited for the last person to cross over, like, tick tock, I got reservations at space 220. So pick up the pace. You guys need to pick up the pace. You're not paying attention to any of the right things. You're just not paying attention to any of the right things. Any of the right things. And your ass is dragging.
I
And we
love
can all see it.
I love that.
Is that a good enough one? Because like,
I think so. Yeah.
okay.
And
I'm
you
very
can
sorry about
see
my hair being
you
big.
can
I want to say.
actually see like the charter school movement like limping towards, and like that's just not going to cut it. You've
But
got to.
that is what we are seeing. And it's like your ass is dragging. Pick up the pace. Like, come on. We have a lot to lose. There's hundreds of thousands of kids in the charter school world. We don't push back on anything. I mean, we do. But like bureaucracy is at peak. Close bad schools. You're not doing that. Close bad schools. That's what you're here for. Like, close them. So, yes, your ass is dragging. Pick up the pace. By the
Love it.
way, I didn't I didn't run a lot today. Yesterday, I think I did 9 miles. Hold on. 9.7 yesterday. Today, I only
Amazing.
did 4.5 because it started raining. And I was like, oh, it's pouring. It's not pouring yet. It's like sprinkling. I could have kept running. I didn't.
You are inspiring me as a former runner. I'm like trying to get back out there. So
It
I
sucks.
love that metaphor, and I also love that you're running. Okay, Regina's third question is: what is the biggest threat to charter schools internally within a school and also externally?
Hold on, I'm writing that one down so I can get it externally. Okay. Internally, that systems and routines and codifying like how you got someplace and why you got someplace is important. And I'm going to give an example. You can have a really high performing school, and the school leader could have been the founding leader, and 10 years later, they decide to leave. And then the board doesn't know. Boards are a problem internally too. Some of them are threats. The board isn't ready. They don't have a succession plan. So they don't know to hire inside or hire somebody from outside. But if they hire somebody from outside, that person wants to come in and put their stamp on the school. So it wouldn't matter if the school's high performing. Why are you going to come in and change anything? This is the model. This is the pedagogy. Implement it. Based on student population, we may need to supplement materials. We may need to like tweak or revise a curriculum. So people feeling like they need to change things that are working. So the biggest threat internally is you're not paying attention to your processes, systems, and routines and documenting why you're doing it. And then when there's turnover at a school, we're watching this happen. I'm actually going to write about this. We watch scores drop, and you got to stop and say, well, this group of schools used to be high performing. What happened? Oh, they got new principals. Was it an internal candidate? Was it an external candidate? So if you're not codifying your systems and routines, processes, how you determined, how you chose things, how you're collecting data on them, this is what happens. So internally, the threats are you're not documenting systems and routines, and also boards aren't asking the right questions. By the way, I would tell you that Andrea would say boards are the threat. Externally are the politics. And in New York specifically, you have SUNY shoving things up the Board of Regents' ass, and they keep thinking, right, what's it going to take before you realize you doing this, not us talking about it, but you doing this is going to be an inevitable problem in politics. And we're now seeing that play out in Long Island, specifically in Long Island. SUNY recently changed their application. And it is all community focused so it's due February 2nd. And then they're going to tell you if you can submit your full application in April. Not it's a letter of intent and you can submit. They're going to let you know, hey, guess what? We don't have a two-step process in our law in New York. People should be pissed they're even being asked to do it. Okay, we'll play. So I'm reading it, and it's all of this documentation that SUNY wants in the beginning. And that is in response to SUNY giving 3 schools to the Academy Charter School in Long Island with minimal support behind them. Listen, they're good schools. We all know they should be allowed to replicate, screw the politics. But there's something at stake for SUNY, which is they can lose their override power. They can lose their authorizing power. So externally, if you're not paying attention to the politics, you don't understand what's going on in Long Island. SUNY had to revise it so that they can, with a straight face, say to politicians in Long Island, we asked for all of this up front. You're wrong. Parents want this school. I understand it. I don't agree with it. Like, you're adding more bureaucracy on. Take that. So now we have Long Island. Now let's go to Buffalo. There's a school. They did not renew the contracts of 3 people or 4 people who worked at their school. Bad timing on part of the board, but politically connected. The people whose contracts were not renewed, one of them is very politically connected. They then sued to be allowed to come back to the school. And in the first court ruling, the judge let them in. Do we understand that a judge basically said at-will employees can come to court and be allowed to go back to their jobs? Great. So now there's another court date, and that judge says, nope, they can't come back in. So now it's going to go to whatever. They were going to take it to court and fight it. This is in Buffalo. If you didn't know this story, you wouldn't know what to prepare for in any other part of the state. So now the school, they hire a new principal, they're in. Crystal Peoples-Stokes announces she wants to visit the school. Great. Crystal Peoples-Stokes says she wants to be there an hour. Eunice Lewin, I think, from the Committee on Charter Schools, right, goes with her. Not an hour. They're there for several hours. They see great things. By all accounts, they saw great things. What happens in the news? Crystal Peoples-Stokes wants an investigation into the school.
And we should say she's a local lawmaker. She's a lawmaker representing Buffalo in the state legislature. So for her to be a friend of the charter schools, movement in that particular charter school and then call for an investigation is really pretty damning. It means
And
that,
telling SUNY, by the way, telling SUNY to. So now it's like, I don't care how good anybody thinks their relationship is with Senator Lou. I don't care. At some point, the decision SUNY is making, you're affecting the politics. You're affecting the autonomy of the Charter Schools Act. There's nobody defending that. And that is our biggest threat externally. There is nobody pushing back on this type of bullshit.
yeah, and just for context, Senator Liu is a state senator in the New York State Legislature, would like to take away authorizing capabilities.
So they feel very comfortable that he would not. What I'm saying to you, he gets enough pressure. What's he going to do?
Yeah, so
So that's external. Internally, it's like documenting. Externally, pay attention to the politics.
and we really want to thank Regina Lauricella for those really thoughtful questions and for
I love you, G.
Jill for taking them. Thank
Thank
you.
you.